Decision making is a fundamental everyone have to learn to be competitive at Valorant. Every time you play a game of Valorant, you make decisions from how to push, when to rotate and more. So in this video, I will learn you guys my approach to decision making. We will go in depth in rules to follow, factors that will affect your decision. In the end, we will look at some demos and break down the decision making process so you will get a better understanding of it. Welcome to mastering your decision making. Why decision making is so hard? The reason so many players struggle with this, even at a high level, is because the whole concept is such a mess. It's so much to think about before making a big decision, and if you don't have some rules or a framework, you will get lost in the decisions. The most important to think about is to ask yourself, what are the chances of this succeeding and what effect will this have on the round? This can be applied to any decision you make in Valorant. From trying to retake to pushing early. There are more factors that will have an impact on your decision making that we will go through. But these factors should be automatic the next time you make a decision. Two types of decision making. Reactive decision making. Reactive decision making is all about the decision you make on the go, or when you encounter a scenario you have never experienced before. Reactive decisions are a big reason players struggle going pro, since the scenarios pro faces in-game are so different from what you will see in the rank, and a lot of players struggles to adapt to this. Proactive decision making. The proactive part about decision making is the decision you make when you encounter a scenario you have played before. This can be how you play versus a default B execute, or how you play in a 3v4 in a specific spot or a map. Both of these are important. You need to be able to make decisions fast in scenarios you are not used to play, since you will encounter these, and your ability to make the correct decision is what sets a good and a great player apart. While if you practice enough, you can make a proactive decision making take over when you have to make the correct decision. Let me explain. The best way to make decision is to use both your proactive and a reactive decision. Use the proactive to make a fast decision of what is known, like time to rotate, what position to play, and all the other fundamentals. Then use the reactive decision to understand the scenarios and come up with what to do. Some rules to follow. Set goals. To have a clear goal of what you want to achieve in a round and which your decision is important. This will help you understand why you have to make a decision and when you have to make a decision. When making a decision, you need a goal. Let's just say it's a retake. You need to make a goal before going for the retake. The goal can be to win, take away guns, or just save and drop the retake. When to make a big decision. You need to understand when you have to make a big decision. This usually comes in a 1v1 or a 4v5, or in other scenarios of course. I categorize a big decision like this. It's a decision you will have to make that will have an impact on the rest of the round or the game, depending on the outcome. This can be trying to win a 1v3 retake, or to take map control after losing a player. This decision will force you to go into the mindset of high risk, high reward, where if you need to recapture Long and Haven, you have to understand if you get it, you will have a better chance of winning. But if you die doing this, the round is lost. You can practice your aim for hours, but if you don't know how to make the correct decision, you will never succeed. To make the correct decision, you will need to know to learn some key factors. Well, here they are. In all the scenarios you will face, you will not have all the information needed to make an educated decision. And that's where the factors come in. This one will help you in the decision making, and I will try to go as in-depth as needed for this so you will understand what I mean. Economy is the first factor to think about before making a decision. In the start of the round, you can see how much money your team and enemy team have. This will give you a clear roadmap on what both teams will buy and have for the round. This information can be important. Let's say no one on the enemy team can buy an AWP. This will make taking Long and Haven easier if your team are able to afford an AWP. Or if the enemy is on a save, you can expect a fast play to A site. All of this will help you make the correct decision on how to approach the round. Here for some numbers so you understand it better. Positions of enemy. In retakes, it's key to understand how the enemy will position themselves or when taking sites. Let's start with retakes. Here there are a lot of small details you have to pay attention to. In retakes you have to see where the spike is planted, so you can make a map of how the enemy is playing around the spike, as well as learning where the most common positions are for attackers in the retake. When taking site, you have to learn where the most common spots for the defender is to play from when holding site. This will help you make the decision on how to take a site, what to peek and more. But enemy position goes deeper than this. When you make a decision of taking map control, you have to learn where the enemy will be positioned when you are peeking, so you know where to look and minimize the risk of you dying. Valorant is different than other shooters where you have abilities, and understanding what abilities are left on both teams are important. This will help you make the correct decision. To give you some example of this. Example 1. You want to lurk but the enemy have a Cypher and Chamber. Now you need to understand that they have abilities to stop you lurking. What do you do then? Here comes the decision paradigm, and what you choose will have a severe impact on the round. If you choose to lurk, you need to be certain that the route you pick is not covered, or that they didn't have any abilities to hold for your lurk. Example 2. It's a retake, and you're in a 1v2 versus a Brimstone and Sova with ults. How do you win this? Here you need to understand that faking simply is not the answer, but pushing them and trying to fight them so their ults are useless to hold the bomb. We could have made so many more examples of this, but these are just to help you understand how to make decisions around your own and enemies' abilities. Valorant, like all other FPS, will have angles that are better for one player than the other. How this works in Valorant is like this. The player further away from the wall or corner will see the player closer to that wall or corner. With this information, you can make a better decision on how to peek to win your gunfights. The other part with angles is that you can use them to your advantage, like creating isolated fights and using them for covers. The most important factor for your decision making are the information you have gathered from your own POV, teammate calls and more. This information can be categorized in two groups: primary information and secondary information. Primary information are what you have seen and the information that is guaranteed. This can be information from the minimap, information about the guns they have, the economy, and who you have met. Secondary information are what your teammate calls and see. This is secondary information since you are not 100% certain that it's true, and this information is still important to take into consideration when you make a decision. So in this part of the video, I want to go over some of my clutches, so you can see how I was thinking during this clutch. This first clip is a 1v3 on Haven for match point. It was in unrated. So I smoke off here because I know the call that one is Heaven. I do this smoke so they will either think I'm crossing or that I can catch them off guard. And if you listen closely, as soon as I reload, I do this. I wait, reloading, that's a free kill. Now I just check all the corners that you have to check. I block this off so I can check. I get shot off from sight. Right now I have my brother in the background talking, but I hear a guy to the left. I know one is sight. Now I identified where both players are. The jet is completely unknown, and now I know where the last is. The bomb is planted and I know we have ult, so I have to bait him out.
Skip yes. Yes.
Knife.
Don't leave it to knife. I tap the bomb here, trying to get half before the ult. I have my dash so I can get away to save much HP. Right here I find a nice one way in case they peek me there. And he comes with his knife out, and it's a free 1v3. It's this 1v3. It is a 3v5. It's a 1v3, the score is 3-5. I have to win this for my team. In these type of 1v3s, you want to isolate fights. When they're just taken sight, it's so hard to isolate it, but I still have to try. So I hide here now, trying to hear the sound. I still have people in the background talking. When I hear this guy up here, I go for this. A free kill. Now I know that I have to find another before they both will push me. I will try to be before this. I activate my dash, I get this kill, and I try to dash away because I expect a push. I go out, and I get lucky on my timing, and I get the last guy for the 4k and the 1v3. And then, to end it off, I want to show a pro clip of when decision is wrong. Which is this clip. I want you to show this first, you're gonna see it, and then you're gonna say why the decision was wrong.
It's a freebie. Ready, set, now. One tap, headshot percentage. Ooh, okay. 1v2, 70 HP, it's pretty hard.
What was wrong? So I'll tell you what was wrong. It is a 3v2. You don't really have to peek it, but he gets a good opening here because it's such an unusual spot to play when the bomb haven't even been planted.
It's a freebie. Ready, set, now.
He sees the gun and a free kill. The problem is this. He doesn't move away, he just stands there. Yeah, it's a 1v3 and you dying here will most likely not lose you the round. Shazam is a good player. But you don't have to die here. You can go and hide and make Shazam have to worry now. If you see him in map, you have to worry now all in this cubby right there and on C site and what's happening. But instead, he stays out and get traded 1-for-1. And render his kill kinda useless. In-game UI. The in-game UI tells you a lot of information as well. Here it's easy to get information from everything, but the UI is at least the bare minimum you have to care about before making a good decision. First is the tab button. This shows you the agent the enemy team have, kills, stats and money. The minimap on the other hand tells you where your teammates are, shows you positions that are open on the map and where the enemy have been seen. And for the last part of the UI is the ping system that Valorant have. This will help you pinpoint exactly where the enemy is when a teammate spots them. How to improve your decision making. Number 1 is be rested. You need to have enough rest to even focus up when you play. So get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. The second is demo reviews for the whole round with the mindset, how can I do better? Do not only look at how you died, but look at why you died and why you made the wrong decision in the first place. Here as well, look at the enemy position. What went wrong? And in all of this, look what went right as well. And the last thing is playing. In the end, just play the game will help you get so much better and improve in this part. This will help you work on your reactive decision making, learning how to handle different scenarios, as well as doing is the best way of learning and improving. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in Radiant soon. Bye.